Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to
Stock in Promotion, Royal Blend Radio.
the station with integrity, the station with a difference. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown says so. Full Darcy.
Stock in Promotion, Royal Blend Radio.
We not stop till we drop. Saying, bless. Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, the station with integrity. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the thing. See? So SPRB Radio, I beg you, kick it to it. Let it go.
Yeah, man, I know Kingston, you know.
Oh, wow.
Baseline well crucial.
Yeah.
No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny.
Looking at the mirror, tell me what you see. That reflection, competition, or the enemy. All the rock and scissors, papers for the trees. After the session, she'll be singing all the melodies. All the faith. When things get rough, keep it straight. Know yourself. Haters out the road, I drive a shot below the belt. That's just the cards that we dealt. Time equals wealth. Not giving up because we're working hard, yeah. Not giving up because we're working hard. So pick up everybody that don't accept defeat. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion. Everybody when I take it too deep, not by your entrance.
No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the victory. Can't skip a step to your destiny. No matter how big the dream, you have to start with one simple seed. Can't skip a step to the
This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, the station with integrity. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the thing. See? So SPRB Radio, I beg you, kick it to it. Let it go.
Yes, Mr. Lloyd Brown. Dress up yourself on the earth strong. Strong just a few days ago, and we wish him a happy birthday. 40 years in the industry, going strong. So much,
yes, that's right.
and with all the things that is going on in the world,
You're breaking up.
legend in the building, Mr. Courtney Panton, sister and bassist for New Kingston. He's played with a lot of the legends. So I'm going to learn a lot from you today. I'm going to let Sharon chime in at this point. So Sharon, introduce yourself. Tell me all about Courtney, because all I've heard from you lately is Courtney.
Yes. Well, as you know, welcome, greetings to one and all in the house. I am Sharon Mango, representing SBRB Radio, Royal Brand Productions, and it is a blessing to have my friend Courtney Panton on this show. Courtney, we have known Courtney for quite some time now. It's been a number of years, I know him. It's a long time. Anyway, he is one of the most proficient musicians I've ever met in the industry. I have heard, people that I know, I'm surprised to hear them call Courtney's name. It's like, Courtney, me work with him, I'm wicked man, nice man. So I can personally say I know that for true. I think I met him when we were, the band I was with at the time, we opened for Third World. Show, remember that? The show, that was a wicked show. Anyway, I met him from there, and then I went to one of the shows. I think his sons were backing Mr. Vegas.
Yes.
And I went for the first time to go check these boys out. And I was like, look, right, these boys about to kick the door open, you know. Them wicked.
What year was that?
Today, yeah, they wicked. They are them boy, they wicked. So
What that, Sharon?
yes, huh?
What year was that?
That was 2000. What's here? Me know what- Right, that was 2005 or 6, something like that. Yeah, that was like 2005 or 6. Yeah, so it's a lot. I've known him a long time.
Right, Sharon, see if you put your volume up a bit, please.
Okay. Yes, can you hear me good now?
I can hear you. Not 100%, but yeah, it's good. It's good enough.
I'm hearing her loud and clear though. She's loud and clear to me.
Okay. Maybe it's my set. It
is your set's breaking up a little bit, like you're a little bit choppy.
breaking up.
Your one is a little bit choppy, B.
Okay, I don't know why that is. Okay, so Sharon, do your introductions and let's start the show.
Okay, so again, Sharon Mango, representing SBRB Radio, Royal Blend Productions. Greetings to one and all who's tuned in today. I anticipate there'll be more people tuning in. And we are here to celebrate this man because no, I haven't seen any real big interviews where they're delving into Courtney Panton's history before his sons. And we are here for you, celebrating you once again, for you to tell us how you got, like from parents growing up, where did you grow up, etc., etc. Let's start with where you were born.
Okay. I was born in Kingston, Jubilee Hospital, downtown. Grew up downtown Kingston, in the heart of real Kingston.
Wow.
The battlefield. The battlefield.
Yeah, man, right down there. Grew up poor, everybody, So, but it was wonderful, though. Jamaica is still the best place to me in the world,
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, man.
I agree. So your parents now, were they musicians? Like what was it like?
No, well, I can tell you, there was nobody anywhere remote in my family that did music. So, but from I was born, I just know that I had to be in the arts. So I think that was something that was a calling, if I can say that. It was definitely a calling for me because I was not introduced, surrounded, or any musical thing. It was just like born with me, that desire to be a music, like a real burning desire. I remember when I heard the Wailers on the radio for the first time, and they introduced, this is the sound of the Wailing Wailers, and I heard that those voices coming out. I was like, wow, that is so beautiful, The sound, it was just amazing to me as a young, might have been 7 years old or something. But it was just amazing. So from the onset, it was just music. Nobody in my family, it was just me.
So when did you first pick up an instrument? Was it in school or what instrument drew?
Well, let me tell you, my story is really unusual because what happened is that for all the years I was of this burning desire to become a musician. There was no outlet. There was no one to go to get even a book or anything. There was a bookstore downtown on King Street. I discovered there was a music book in there, a music section with maybe 3-4 music books. And that would be my lunch. Every day I would run out of school and run into that bookstore and read that book. Wow. To the point I could recite the contents from the beginning to the end. So before I was even able to get access to an instrument. So I knew the theory of music long before I was able to touch an instrument.
Wow.
Isn't that something? Yeah. So I would make my finger on the key and like draw the lines on a paper for the piano, and just imaginary study, But I knew the theory, and I knew the theory because, eventually when I got to taking up music, which was like I was about 19. Well, before that, I got into drums. I picked up, because I used to be a dancer, So we would dance, I was just musical, like anything. When music playing, my body would just make these funny moves, uncontrollably, And then so they recognized that from I was about 5 years old, and they put me on, on a dance competition, and we won and stuff like that, So then I picked up the drums because I love the sound of the drums. So every time I hear the Congo drums, the sound of that would just be something special for me, So eventually I picked up as a teenager, I found this guy named Cedric Brooks, which is one of my main mentors.
Okay.
Saxophone player from Jamaica, he's rest in peace. And we learned start African drumming and learn the whole history of musical thing from Africa vibe,
Yeah, your ancestors were calling.
Right. So but I had it, because he would bring people from Africa to teach us rhythms, and I would just get it quickly, and they were like, he's got it. So I guess I had some kind of eagerness and hunger for that musical acceptance, So that's when I started, so maybe in the teens, 17, 18, when I really got the chance, But I actually didn't pick up a guitar until I was about 19, 20.
Okay.
But when I picked it up and got an instrument, I practiced for like 18 hours a day, I would just sit there, even when I'm sleeping, I'm guilty. I feel like I should have been practicing,
Wow.
So I went to a good proficiency level in no time, Almost within 6 months I was on tour, and people are like, what? But I guess I have the aptitude and the desire, the drive, and the hunger, Couldn't talk to me unless I talk music, So that was it. And so I went on. I played the drums for dance theater companies, and schools of dance, Jamaica School of Dance, and stuff like that. And then I went into the club, started playing, the bass. I picked up the guitar first, but I was making all these strange, weird bass lines that I was writing, composing, and nobody around me really was interested in all this too much stuff. So I said, something, I'm gonna play it myself. So I started there. So some people may have to big up along the way. People like, there's a guy, his name is Juna Wedderburn. He works with the Lion King on Broadway. He was like the real person that got me into playing the drums, steadily, and got me gigs at the Jamaica School of Dance in Jamaica and stuff like that. And then there's Cedric Brooks, and then there's a bass player, you might know him. His name is Derek Barnett.
Oh yeah, Derek. Yeah.
Derek. So he's like, one of the main persons that inspired me, even to this day, to be proficient a certain way, because he was advanced. People see him and see him play and think, he's a funny guy, or just lively and stuff, but he's a real serious musician, And so that was one of the influences that I had. And then, there's a lot of other people, that, but I have to make mention to those three: Cedric Brooks, Juna Gabby Wedderburn, and Derek Barnett.
Legends.
The legends.
All three of them, legends.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then, so I worked in the hotel circuit for a couple of years, in around the countryside, in Jamaica, and then I migrated here, started a family, got married, came here, started a family, and then these boys came up now, and they took interest in it,
Well, before we even get there, let me just take you back somewhat. What were your parents' aspirations for you, or what were your aspirations for yourself? Did you always know music was where you wanted to go to, or did you want to become something else going to school? What school did you go to?
Right. First of all, my parents didn't even know where I was most of the time. And it's not because I'm big. Like, I had a grandmother who was like a terrorist, you know. I couldn't do that. You know, she kept me in line. I thank God for her because she's the one who really kept us, you know, even in our absence. You know, you just saw this person, you know, like you better not do that. You know,
Right.
Yeah, she was different.
Right. Right.
But you know, I really never had a father, really, you know.
Okay.
I might have seen him like 3 or 4 times throughout the whole of that time. And then and my mother was very, you know, laid back, quiet, you know, just soft person, you know.
Right.
So that nobody really had any intention for me to do anything. You know, it was all just me discovering life and saying, you know, for some reason I always had a progressive thinking and, you know, love for people and trying to always wanted to do something, but I was obviously not able to because I didn't have the resources, you know.
Right. So pretty much life was hard growing up.
Yeah. But as far as what I wanted to do, all I could think of was just doing something musical. That's it. I never wanted to be any car salesman or any mechanic or anything else. I just saw myself just being music. You know, but
share with us one more time in trying to materialize your how can I call it, your hobby. I'm not sure if it became a hobby for you or something you were just fascinated with. Whatever it was, how did you go about materializing that first instance in your life?
You mean with the music?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Because you talk about drumming even before the bass came into play. So how did the drumming come into play?
I can't tell you exactly how it got started. You know, it got started. There were some guys. I tell you about this guy named Junior Wedderburn. I'm in a meeting. Can you text me, please? Thank you. Yeah, this guy named Junior Wedderburn. I was living in this house in Kingston, and the owner for the house went to Port Antonio in Portland and found these drummers, right? And he was a very Afrocentric kind of guy too, you know?
Right.
Cool. So he invited all 10 of them to come to his house in Kingston to live and try to start their life in Kingston.
Right.
Wow.
So it's like all of a sudden out of the blue, in the house that I lived in, which is half of where, you know, you lived, and there was 10 drummers living next door. So, you know, in Kingston, Jamaica, you can go all night playing music, you know?
Yeah.
They would sit up on the veranda and they would just be drumming. Sometimes it's down to 2, sometimes 5, you know, so at 24 hours throughout the day, they would just always be drumming. So I would sometimes be just walking past them on the veranda, minding my business. And one day, Junior Wedderburn held my hand and stopped me and said, "Why do you just walk past us all a while? Sit down and play some drums." That was it.
Wow.
So I have to contribute him as the person who really got me started in music, like instrument-wise.
Right.
You
So
know,
what did that do for you as a young kid? What did that do for your mental being?
well, as you know, we was kind of in the streets, you know, just, you know, running the streets like this, you know, just aimlessly, like, you know, doing all sort of stuff in the streets, you know. And that kind of centered me a little bit, you know, because when I found that I had the natural energy for the drum, you know.
Yeah.
Because from I was born, I always heard it and it was just connecting all the while. So for me to sit down and play it, and I just got it one time, like he showed me a beat and I would just start doing it. And I'm like, yeah, and that is it. So it's like from that intro, I just went right into playing and never stopping, you know, to this day. It's like, because it was like it's just like one of my sons. I have a son, Courtney, his name is too. I went fast forward to the story because when I discovered that, you know, there was issues with them and now I was not spending enough time with them. I bought this drum set and I brought it into the basement at the house here, and I called him from outside and I said, come have some for you. And it's like he found the girl of his dream when he saw that drum to this day.
Yes.
Yeah, so I
Yes.
think, and if you have seen him play, you will know exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, very passionate, very passionate. So, so that just a little fast forward. But you know, back then, that really was what really cemented my entering as a musician. And then he himself, Junior Wedderburn, would bring me to the Jamaica School of Dance, where he was a drummer accompanist for the dancers. And I would sit in with him, and then I started doing, you know, like children classes and stuff until I was able to handle, you know, heavier duty classes, you know.
Because one of my questions would have been, did you ever go to Edna Manley?
Yes, so it was called the Jamaica's Cultural Training Center at the time.
Okay.
Before it was Edna Manley, it was Cultural Training Center. There was four schools inside. There was School of Dance, School of Drama, School of Art, and School of Music. Right. So the School of Dance is where I worked. You know? Right. And then eventually, because of Cedric Brooks now, I got introduced into Jamaica School of Music, and they tested me, and I just blew the test up because I had really known all this theory from I was like 14.
Yeah.
And people like, where did you study? I was like, in a bookstore.
Damn.
That's amazing. Wow. I mean, when I think of it, and I don't know how many other persons actually came into music like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you're coming from the back end, you know?
It's just amazing the amount of people that I've interviewed, that some who are musicians, how they had just a natural ear for music. And it just came from, they just learned it just raw, natural.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that last night. Is people, so some people when them hear music, them hear different things, you know. Some people them hear a song, you know, and them hear the lyrics.
Right.
Some people and them focus on that, you know. So that's what that carry them. Some people hear a melody.
Right.
You know, some people don't really so much care about them. You know, they will sing a song, but them don't know the words, you know, but them just know the melody. Right. You know? So it's really an attention, you know, what you give to whatever you do, you know. Right. You know, like, you know, we have an RV here that needs some repair. You bring a guy here, he might just look at it and in no time and just bring it back to life. You know? Yeah. Because that's how he sees things, you know, and we all have it, you know, we all have something is just really what we see and like. Right. You know. Okay. There's that.
So I'm pretty sure at some point, you know, you're thinking about how you can earn money. What was going through your brain in terms of earning money? What was the political system like? What were the distractions at the time? Give me some years and paint a picture of where your headspace was in terms of trying to achieve and get to the next level.
All right, so you know, back in the most musicians and singers and artists don't really think about money initially, you know, them just, you have to have a real love first, I think, for the arts, you know. I mean, naturally, eventually, you know, you have to, you know, start living and, you know, especially if, you know, you become a man and you have relationships and marriages and stuff now, then the reality kicks in and the babies start coming and the, you know, the rents and the, you know, so. But initially, most people, I think, especially people who really love the arts, you don't really think about money when you're entering, you know? Okay. You more think of just developing your skill and just, you know, just getting that satisfaction of, you know, of a mission, you know? Even though, I mean, I work with Monty Alexander, jazz piano player, and sometimes I'm on the stage with him and I feel like I'm in the best seat.
Yeah, the Alexander's a legend.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's like, wow. I'm not even thinking about the money, you know. Right. It's just how wonderful it is here to sit, you know, sitting in the set on the stage with all these great players, you know, Monty and the crew, you know, it's just, I don't think, but money is something that we understand. I would never really think about actually fully getting paid for what we're doing. Okay? There's no, you can't put a price on a song, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you just have to kind of agree to something to say, okay, let's do that, you know, but.
Right. It's pretty interesting to hear from a musician's perspective on what you're speaking on, you know. Like, for instance, you know, when you speak to many artists, they don't know where their earnings is going to come from time to time, although they do it for the love, but money also becomes a part of, you know, their struggle. So for you, it's been pretty different. You're just amazed and just loving the fact that you're amongst all these greats. You're loving the atmosphere, so to speak. How were you surviving from day to day?
Well, you know, naturally, everything happened for me naturally. Like when I started learning the drums, I started going to the school of dance, you know, so I would start getting paid, you know.
You were getting paid.
Yeah, eventually you start getting paid, like, you know,
Okay.
money, and then I started doing my own classes, and it was enough. I could, you know,
Mm.
and then I picked up the guitar and the bass, and in no time I was playing in the club. So I was doing the club at night, and I was doing the dance school during the day. So it's like I made a good transition, you know, from actually fear of not making money, and then while I was in the club, now I was very lively and, you know, energetic. You know, people would just like to see me. So when I grew past that point where I said it's time for me to come out of this now, I was being auditioned by 5 different people from hotel circuits that same night. When I reached the point that I'm saying, I think it's time for me to go. And the owner for the club actually called me and said, I'm going to start auditioning for bass players. And I'm like, and I'm saying, you know, I wouldn't fire, but I know they're coming to get you, because when you're lively like that as a young musician, you know, the scouts come out and they come for you, you know. Because every hotel and thing like a band that is lively, the musicians, because that's what made the guests drink
more.
Yeah.
You get
So you must know man like Ed Robinson and them man there.
Yes, man, we grew up together.
All right, because I know he used to do the hotels as well.
Yeah, man. I have a lot of stories about Ed, you know. No, but Ed, people actually say me and Ed look like brothers, you know.
All right.
Yeah, man. But me and Ed have a wonderful vibe, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yes, yeah.
Okay. Listen, I could talk to you for hours and hours, and Sharon would never get the microphone for talk. So I'm going to let Sharon chime in. Come in, Sharon.
Actually, one of my sons is online too now.
Yes, he is. One of Tahir, right? Is it Tahir?
Tahir, yeah.
Yeah, he's online right now. So,
Tahir is here. Where is he?
He is.
I cannot see him.
Yeah, he's on there.
Okay, I can see. Is that Thalia?
No,
Panton?
that's Thalia. No, I guess he's gone because he was here.
Okay, I can see Thalia Panton. Who is that?
That's my wife. That's the mother of the thing.
Okay, so let's add her into the mix. Okay, I'll just put her in center screen.
Okay.
All right. I was also speaking to a good friend of mine whose family, man like Jerry Harris, he told me that he had worked with you also.
Yes.
Yeah, he was telling me some good stories about you.
Yes, you know? Man. That's my Jerry Harris. That's my boy right there, you know.
All right.
Long time,
yeah. Sharon, chime in, say something.
Oh, all right. So where are we now? When was your first like huge touring date? Who was the artist?
Oh, okay. So I would say one of the biggest artists known that I toured with and actually started was Shaggy. So I put that together from the beginning and started touring, and we went all over the world, Europe, Japan, you know.
What year was that?
In the 90s, like
Okay.
Like from about 93 to about 96 when he won the Grammy.
Okay.
But with that, some notable artists that I've worked with was like Sugar Minott, toured with him, a lot. One of my favorite artists. Rest in peace. So. Okay, Tahir's back on. Look for Tahir's back on, yeah?
Yeah, he's back on.
Yeah. Tahir's back on. Okay,
Yeah,
let's add him to the screen. Yeah, we got him. So Sharon, you should have 5 people in your middle screen.
Yes, I see. Look, looking like that. There he is. New Kingston.
Yes.
I can see where the looks come from. He's definitely got your genes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah. All right. So back to you, Sharon.
Yes. So you said Shaggy was the first one. Was that
Well,
your first
I would say not the
major?
first, but he was one of them. There was Sister Carol, I have to make mention of, which is one of our peeps. And Yellow Man, I toured Europe a lot with Yellow Man too. And the list goes on. And then, of course, comes New Kingston. So here comes Tahir to the younger ones, came in and started taking over the scene now, So his timing is perfect. He's walking into the frame right now.
We can't hear. I think he's speaking, but we cannot hear him.
Okay, yeah.
Tahir, we can't hear you, Tahir.
Oh, sorry. I had to press unmute. My apologies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, help me out.
Right, I was listening, though. I was listening to the whole thing. I like your whole story, it was actually interesting to me too, to hear these things again, so
yeah,
beautiful thing. Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm sorry,
tell you what,
I want to apologize in advance too. I'm in Vermont right now, so my service is kind of bad.
Okay.
I'm in the mountains right now, so
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, thank you for logging on because I know the history. I met you guys again at the Mr. Vega show like years ago.
Nice.
I came and I checked you guys out and I think I came downstairs, you guys were downstairs and I came and talked to you. I was like, look, man, you guys are about to kick the door open. I knew what was coming, and with a father like Courtney, as your guide, you know what I'm saying? It's amazing to see what you guys have done so far. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. You guys had a really amazing mentor. And Courtney, man, you the man. Like everybody can say so much about you, Courtney Panton. So, going forward now, okay, so you do all these artists. When did you actually start with New Kingston then? Because I think that's where your big success is like coming in now. Like when did you decide that?
Well, I have some interesting story. I'll make it quick. So one of the things is that being a musician, having a studio in Brooklyn, would take up a lot of my time. Be out all night in the studio, coming home 3-4 in the morning when them fast asleep, and then by the time them wake up to go to school and fast asleep, So one night in particular, I just decided to come home early, and I came home, I saw 2 of them running up and down the street, and there was police sirens going off, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to take a check, So I kind of just closed up the studio for a little bit and just started to stick with them and, hang with them, because I realized that I was going to lose them, to the streets. And then so we started banding with music, and until I brought the drum set for thing, and they were always fiddling around with the instruments and stuff. That's what the mom is on right now. Yes. Hello, Taylor.
Greetings, Miss Panton.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings, yes.
Everyone.
Greetings.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So essentially, I got some instrument, and we was banding, just jamming, going out and just doing stuff. And then it started to take shape, So I had a band called the Kingston Crew at the time, my peers, thing. But it was always problem whenever we need to do a gig, somebody later, rehearsal, So, I did a gig one time, and Tahir, who's on now, came to the gig with me, and he was saying, Dad, I want to play, And I'm like, okay. So I let him play, and I guess the bug hit him too. And you know, we just started, you know, working on songs, and then they started to go. So even sometime I would go do a gig and I bring them to do the show, and the guys and people would say, "But where's the band?" I said, "Here they are." You know, I said, "No, those are your sons." Where's the band? I hired a band. You bring your sons. So it's that's where it came out of, you know, and they kept at it until you know, I have to give thanks to, there's a couple of clubs in Brooklyn, I have to make mention of, like Footprints and the Tracks and
Footprints,
Footprints, they gave us, and there's one out in Long Island called Dunn's River. They really hired us, man. Pretty much we're just making some fun noise, you know, but the energy was good, you know. So people would like to see the young guys just playing, you know. They didn't mind it that it was mostly nice, but you know. So and then now we started backing. So one of the first artists back was Frankie Paul, you know. And then he came in and really gave us strength. And there was a couple of ones too, like Sammy Dread and Jonah Demus, you know, those guys would come around the club all the time, and that's where it started. And them end up back in Ninja Man, Shabba Rankin, you know, Marley's to Kimani Marley, you know, Uni Richard Spice, you know, Iwin, and the name goes on and on, you know, that's really started backing up a lot of artists, and then we evolved into making our own music, original music, you know. And so that's the flow. So, you know, I must tell you, I like what you're playing that song of all songs, because that is a new release. There's a new video out for it. You should check it out.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Step. I'm like, you know, it's a new look. So maybe Tahir can tell you more about where them head is on that.
It's funny because Steve is on the call right now too. He's actually boarding a flight to LA. I told him to call in real quick. Steve, unmute your camera and your microphone real quick. Let them see your face real quick and talk a 1, 2 thing real quick.
Who's that? Suki or something?
Sakari.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unmute your
on a plane. Oh.
Unmute. There we go.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Carrie. So Carrie is the artist, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Part of New Kingston. I can see he's on a plane. He's a jet setter.
Steve, tell him about Skip a Step real quick, Steve. Tell him about Skip a Step real quick, Steve. That's what they were asking about. The video and everything. Can you?
Tell him to unmute.
He's still muted?
He's on mute.
Oh, yeah, Steve. Unmute your...
I hear you now. What you were saying?
There you go. Yeah. And they was asking about Skip a Step and just the video and everything and the direction we're going with the music and everything. I know you got to take off, so I want you to say a 1, 2 real quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, Skip a Step is definitely some new direction from New Kingston. It's something that we kind of, you know, put together and now we're seeing it through in a video, you know. It's a fresh look. It's something we kind of feel the energy from, and, you know, can't wait for everybody to kind of give us our thoughts and check out the tunes, you know. So just looking forward to seeing what it does, and definitely it's a big vibe and I like it a lot. So, you know, wait and see what it does and definitely how people receive it.
Yeah, we like it. We like it.
Nice.
We like the new look.
Nice,
you know what
nice.
I'm saying? Although no cut off in no area, you're gone.
No, fix up it up.
Yeah. And I still have my hair with me too, you know. I still have my hair, you know, it's with me forever.
Okay.
Well, I've heard, folks. I gotta get out of here.
Okay.
All right. Safe travels.
Thank you.
One thing I love about the new track is that I hear quite a few genres in there. You know, it's like I hear a bit of R&B, some funk, some reggae vibes. It's like you've infused everything modern day music in that one song. Was that intentional?
I wouldn't say it's intentional, you know, but it's more
natural.
like, yeah, it's natural. That's just how it goes. Because growing up, my father didn't really want us to just do the reggae thing. we had to do the reggae thing though. You know, that's obviously the foundation. So we had to catch that groove. But there was a lot of other musical genres that he made sure we had under our belt. You know, the Earth, Wind and Fires, the Michael Jacksons, and so many other people I could name, but I can't think of off top right now. Right. So just naturally, when you have those things inside of you, when it's time to create, those things come out of you, and it creates what it is that we make now. You know, because I feel like I don't know, not in the bossy way at all, because I'm not a bossy youth, but like I feel like nobody makes music like New Kingston. You know, nobody can make music like New Kingston.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's because of, you know, how we were brought up, and obviously all of our influences combined and separately creates a completely unique equation musically, you know, that can't be replicated anywhere else, you know? So
share with us your version of how you feel New Kingston came together. Your father shared us, you know, his version. Share with us what you got from your father.
I mean, he gave us, other than music, obviously, which is the most important thing, he gave us the path, you know? He gave us the path. And it's funny because there was a time where he was like our manager, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, you know? And then I remember when he was like, yo, you know what? I want you guys to handle it now. So me, Courtney, and Sakari, we ended up like pretty much taking care of the direction of which we were going to go down for the path now. You know what I'm saying? And that was probably like 2015, I want to say maybe 14, a little earlier than that. Because we did so many things. It's it needs to be documented for sure. But I mean, there was a time where, you know, wow, it's just so much to say. There's so much to say. So much to say. So much to say. You know, it's really hard to sum it up in 30 seconds, you know? But I feel like once we started really finding our musical identity, like creating wise, recording wise and stuff like that, that's when it really, New Kingston took a different type of shape in terms of where we are today.
Okay, let me just stick a pin for a second. What were you hearing in the industry itself that you felt you needed to infuse something different into it? What was the mindset?
You know, it's funny. When we first started making music, we had no idea about the industry, which I think was the best thing. You know what I'm saying? We were just creating music that we liked. It wasn't about like, okay, what void could we fill or anything of that sort, you know, which I think is the best way, you know, because when you start overthinking your creative process, it can kill it one time. You know what I'm saying? So we were fortunate enough to already be in the industry and have certain leverage, if you would, so where we would create things and people would listen to it and take to it, you know? So we weren't really trying to make something specifically for radio, you know what I'm saying? We were just making music that we thought was dope and we put it out, you know? So there was never really a time like that. Obviously these times now we're a little bit more critical about what we're doing and how we're releasing music and like how it sounds and stuff like that, but we still try to stay true to just doing what we believe is fun for us, and hopefully everybody else will take to it the same.
And what was the word on the circuit where New Kingston was concerned?
in terms of when we actually started putting things out and started hitting the road and everything?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure not many people have hit the road like how New Kingston hit the road, you know, because I'm talking about negative degree weather. You know, we were sleeping in the van and stuff like that just to get to the show to play for 2 people. You know what I'm saying? That's where it started at. You know what I'm saying? And we still made it look good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, and we did a lot of that until 2 people turned into 10 people, and then 10 people turned into 1,000 people, and then everybody started talking, you know. So that part of the process, a lot of people didn't see, but, you know, that's a part of the process you can't skip, you know? And that's ties it back to the song we just released. Can't skip a step, you know what I'm saying? Especially coming from where we're coming from. You know, you have to build it from the ground up. And that was the only way.
But that's a part of your journey, though. I mean, playing in bands myself, you could go somewhere and there's only 2 people, but you're going to put out your best. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what's going on. You love what you're doing, but you're gonna do it. Then it's right. 2, then 10, then 20, then 1,000. You know what I'm saying? You get recognized, but man, you guys are, boy, I tell you, I'm happy I was there to see from the very beginning. Your journey, you know what I mean? Your sound, like from your very first album, I still have that, and I still love that album. The very first one you guys did. And you can tell from there till now how, you know, sound that you have, and your sound is very much your own. You know what I mean? Like, who does most of the writing?
We all do writing. We all do writing. We all, everybody, even my father does writing too, because he's gonna be the main one that when we think it's completed, we're gonna send it to him. He'll be like, yo, nah, that part right there, nah, change that. You know what I'm saying? and then we gotta go back and change that. You know what I'm saying? So everybody is always writing. You know, obviously musically as well too. You know, we write all our parts musically and stuff, but it's definitely a collaborative effort at all times. It's a family unit in many ways. You know, everybody is a part of all decisions at all times.
That's beautiful. Courtney, back to you. I have to say, I'm gonna take a step back for a second. You said, you know, you really didn't grow up with a father, and then you got involved in this music, and then you said you know, when the boys, you know, you've seen them in the streets and everything like that. You took a concerted effort and said, no, I'm gonna have to reel them back in, you know. I'm gonna have to get these boys right. You know, a lot of fathers would have been like, well, they'll be okay, or carry on. You took 10 steps back and said, let me bring my boys in, and gave them the attention that they needed, which is why they are who they are today. Like, what was that breaking moment? Like, what was there something happening at that time? What was that breaking moment that you was like, no, I'm not gonna lose my boys to the streets?
You're muted. You're muted. All right.
Yeah. So when I came home that night in particular, and I saw, you know, I just had a vibe, you know, like, I don't like what I see, you know, even though there was not necessarily danger to them, but just the activity of them running up and down in the street, and the police cars were just flying around for whatever reason, you know. So I just stopped. I closed on the studio for a little bit and just started to focus on them. And in conversations with them, I realized that there were some guys up the street here who wanted to hire them, you know, so to speak, to start selling drugs or getting involved in different activities, you know. So that's when I knew that I can't lose these guys, you know. I gotta change up my timing, you know.
I'm saying I think it's important for people to hear that. You know what I mean? You're raising young Black men in America, right? And you know what it's like here is, I mean, of course, I'm born and reared in England. The same thing in England. Had a lot of young men in England, you know, had the same opportunity or the same type of person that you are, things probably would have been better. So you've set a precedence to say, well, I'm not losing my boys. Take 10 steps back, but you talk to them. In conversations with them, you talk to them and built them up to be like, no, there's a better way. You know what I mean? You together. That's a big thing happening in our society.
And also because of the fact I guess if I was a basketball player, I guess that's what I would be doing, you know? You know, so you just pull them into what you're into that's positive, you know? You know, and just get them to understand that it's not even just learning and studying and going to school, but it's also what you're going to do with that knowledge, you know, because you have to be creative, you know, because if you're not creative, then you're just going to just work and never really see any kind of ending.
Right.
Or you know, so I always think of being creative. You know, because that's where wealth comes from, creativity, not just trying to do what everybody else has done. You know, just really trying to come up with new ideas and stuff like that. Or be a specialist at what you do, you know, like extreme levels.
Right, right.
You're going to be a cook, be the best cook, you know, do your research, get the max out of it, you know.
What I think is amazing is that you expose them to all genres of music.
Yeah, well, that was the experience in growing up as a musician and knowing that whatever you're going to study, even if you're going to study law, you need to be wide, you know, in your scope. You know, you can't just narrow it down to just that, you know. You just have to learn all kind of styles. If you're going to be a singer, it's the same thing. You have to sing soca, you have to sing, you know, jazz, gospel, everything. And then you have a natural expression based on what you choose to express yourself, but not lacking skills of different styles, you know.
B, you want to chime in there?
Well, I have to say I applaud you as a father for reeling in your kids and getting them to stick and stay with you, you know. I want to drag you back a little bit. I still want to go back to your father. How much of your father's situation helped you through to where you are today?
My father? Okay, so actually, I can say that I actually didn't have a father, really. My father
situation helped you through to where you are today. Did that stick in your mind to say that, you know, I've got to be there for my own kids and I've got to whatever and whatever?
Well, naturally, because I guess I was born with a certain kind of mindset. Somehow, I don't know where I get that from. So my thinking is about even people in general. I love people. I love to help people. I will go all the way out to just be helpful with people, you know. So naturally, my sons are my family. Of course, they're going to benefit from that feeling more than anything else, you know. So I didn't need a father to be helping me for me to move on with my sons or my, you know, kids properly, you know, because naturally that's who I am anyway.
Right.
You know, but the one thing I got from my father is that, unfortunately for the people who drink and do all these other drugs and stuff, he got caught up in this drinking thing that make all his achievements become zero.
Okay.
You know, yeah, you know, and that was his biggest problem. He was just, I guess, very educated, very skilled, but the drinking, the alcohol and stuff just cut everything back down to zero. So all his accomplishments just went nowhere.
So it's easy to say that was maybe your driving force.
Definitely. I mean, that for sure was something I know I would never get into, because to this day, people don't believe that I've never had a drink in my entire life.
Yeah, right.
Not even a rum.
No.
Or a rum punch.
None.
None.
I understand. I'm joking with you.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Remember, we have been tested all these years and I never bowed, you know?
Yeah.
Nothing can get me to do anything that I don't want to do for myself. You know, you go and you do whatever you want for yourself, and I take care of man. I'm not going to judge you for what you do.
Well, I salute you. I absolutely salute you for what you've done and what you've accomplished.
Yes.
You know, you're a huge source of inspiration to many. And, you know, something says to me that New Kingston, Courtney Panton, is still an entity yet to be discovered. Even though the multitude have heard about you, you're yet to be discovered. Yeah. And I'm interested to hear what Mama Panton has to say about this whole venture when Mr. Courtney is saying he's going to get his kids involved in music. What was your reaction to that, Mama? You're muted, by the way. All right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon.
Yes.
Well, when he made that statement, more than a statement, because he turned it into action, it was fine with me, absolutely fine. Because as he said, he was a musician, so he could give them that. Whether they chose to, once they became adults, to continue with it was up to them. But it was his job, I think, one, to give them what he could in terms of his skill, and it worked successfully. And I will never forget that day when he came home and he saw them, and he essentially said also, the streets will not take my boys. The streets will not take my boys. And we know where they are today.
Right.
You saw one up in Vermont. You saw Steve, good family friend, on a plane, right? Flying, I believe, from San Francisco back to LA. My other son, Courtney, the drummer, is in Ventura, California. They've all pivoted from being on the road, being on tour, still involved in music. My son is a production manager for a big music hall in Ventura. Tahir is out on the road, still playing music, but has also pivoted because everyone has to eat and has to survive. So the only thing I could say was, yes, it was his season at the time. It was his season for them. I could not give them what they needed at that time when they were 11, 12, and 13. It was time for dad to take over. And I had to accept that. And it wasn't hard to accept. I just had to realize there's a season for everything. And that was a season for their dad. And he stepped in as a father, as a musician, and as their managers and leaders. And they are still benefiting from that today. So I'm happy.
What message would you have for any family who may see that their children have some ounce of talent and may be going through something similar to what you remember going through? What message would you say to those people out there?
A mentor. They need to find a mentor, a model who's doing what you see your children, what they should be doing or could be doing. You need that guidance because sometimes you can't do it by yourself. What he gave them, I could never do it. I don't have a musical bone in my body. I don't. But I understand what it can bring to your life and what it has brought to my children's life, what my husband gave them. So moms and dads out there, for your children, find a mentor, find someone who's doing it. Sometimes you have to pay, but a lot of times people offer their talent and their guidance and mentorship free. And I've seen that through Courtney Panton, for sure. He's helped many.
Let me hear the words from your own mouth where you see the fruits of your labor, you and Courtney, in terms of New Kingston. How does it make you feel today to see where you've come from to where they are today?
Oh my, blessed. That's the one word. I can honestly say blessed. It has not always been an easy journey, but it has been a beautiful journey. Definitely, especially after, 25 years now, seeing where they are and where they came from. It's just a blessing. It is a blessing. And like I said, it is important for parents to know. You know that they're going to leave home at some point, but to be able to say, where they are and what they're doing and that they're safe and that they're happy, I'm fine with that.
Mama is happy.
Mama is very happy. Thank you, Mama. It's so important to hear your perspective.
Thank
Courtney
you.
Panton, I told you I said we have to celebrate him because this man is so interesting. His whole life is interesting. And what he's done for his boys that makes him not excluding you, Mama, because I know you did your part too. But it's the basis of a strong foundation, which is unfortunately lacking in the Black community at that. You know what I mean?
And education too was a crucial thing, what she really pushed, for them too, the balance. There has to be a balance too. She's not telling her side fully, but there's a lot to say, but I mean, the education and also other things like just doing, karate classes or, just baseball, stuff, just all these other things. So that,
Exposure. Yeah.
exposure to different
life
things.
and other opportunities. Yeah.
Right. Right. Wow.
Well, Mama, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thalia, thank you.
And we can
You're
see
welcome.
proud written all over you.
Yes,
definitely.
It's beaming. God bless you. So
Thank
proud.
you so much.
So proud.
Blessings as well.
Another
Thank
black
you.
woman, so proud. It's a beautiful thing.
Let me tell you, when we tour all over the country, here people come from far. That some people drive out 4 or 5 hours, and just mostly for the fact that it's a band with the father on the stage. They want to experience that.
Yes.
Imagine.
Yeah, because you don't see that so much, you know, especially in the black, you know, your family.
It's true. It's true.
It's true. It's true.
Very true.
Well, Courtney, I tell you what, it seems like you've raked up some brownie points.
Brownie. All right. Yeah, I'll take that.
You rake up some brownie points, man. Not just at home, but all over the place, man. Because that is inspiring. You inspire people to want to do good for their children, you know?
Yeah, man, you have to stick with the kids, man.
Yeah.
Let me tell you quickly. You said that time that I took off from work and I thought everything was gonna fold. Actually, I got a deal right within that time to do a project for Bob Marley's thing for Universal Record. The biggest job I've got in New Square. I was the person who copied from the tapes, transferred them into the digital system, Pro Tools now, as I know it. At that time, which was one of the biggest jobs I got, which was right when I thought everything was going to fold on me. I closed on the studio for a while. I'm focusing on the boys. I was going for broke, buying all this equipment for them. And I got rewarded with that job.
Wow.
So I can tell anybody, say, if you go to your kids and treat them right, trust me, the reward is unbelievable.
That is
I
amazing.
can see you got proud written all over you too.
Yes, man. And then when you're on stage at night time, you look across the side and you look at the sun, you might see what they're doing and the joy in their face. You can't get no better than that.
What goes through your mind? Paint a picture of what goes through your mind. And you're seeing this.
I mean, not only people come to me after the show, people, you know, young women, guys with tears saying, oh, I'm a musician, and my father is a musician, and I never got to play with him, and I'm seeing you guys on stage, and it's like, I'm living it through you. That opportunity to play with my father or my sister, you know, something like that.
Right.
So it's a constant joy and you know, and satisfaction almost every night when you're out there on the road playing.
I'm amazed at the amount of albums that New Kingston have out there. I have Kingston City, I have the new one, and a few other ones that you have out there. But you have quite a few albums. You guys have been putting in the work.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of work, you know, and then before the work really started. You know.
And what is what is the feedback you get from the street in terms of where New Kingston is concerned?
You know, the thing is that they say, no, you're starting to realize, I'm in Jamaica mostly now, and I'm surprised everywhere I go, people recognize me and say, you know Kingston, you know, I'm like, me? Say, yeah, I know everything about you. And I'm like, but it's the social media has really, you know, developed so much that everybody, everywhere you go now, you'll be surprised. You might go to Africa and find that a lot of people, more than you know you or know about the band, you know. So social media has really contributed to that.
I see that you're working with legends, Sister Carol, you work with Sugar Minot, you worked with anybody who's anybody. What has it been? What was that process?
And Pam Hall, her sister too.
Okay, and Pam Hall too. See, I didn't even know that.
I just did something like a week ago.
Okay. See?
So what has it been like? What has their feedback been in terms of what you've tried to present to them? Was it hard work or was it just easy for them to accept?
You mean the artists that I work with?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I tell you something. my approach to people is first trying to understand what it is that they want to do. You know, I tell a quick story. There's Bob Marley's daughter, Cedella Marley. She came to Jamaica to do some work with her fashion shows thing. She was in a fashion contest down there in Jamaica. And she went to everybody. She went to Stone Love. She went to Repo, Rory, Bobby Digital, all these people, and couldn't get what she wanted. And she requested me and said, I want Courtney. And when she found me, the only thing I have different over these guys was that I paid attention. I said, what does she really want? What is she trying to achieve? And I think that was what helped me to, you know, to give her what she said was the best choice she made. So it's just really a matter of, if you get with an artist, first you just need to try to figure out what it is that this person is trying to do, so you can enhance that, not come with your own initial idea for that person.
What are some of the accolades you've achieved so far?
Well, not much. I'm not really into those things, and I don't know. You know, maybe it's just coming. I see you guys' effort. I like it. You know, so
always coming.
Yeah, I feel it's coming. Yeah, over time, you just have to just keep doing the work, you know, and don't worry about accolades, you know, because my job is I love people. I love to see people laugh and be happy, and music does that. You know, New Kingston, when they play, it's almost generating a nice energy. You know, I can say that safely. People like to see us play. You know, we go and we play all original set, and people will stay there and watch the entire show. That means something, you know.
Of course.
Because most bands that tend to use cover music to keep people interested and not try to develop an original presentation that is so interesting that people would stick around and listen and pay attention to your set. You know,
Let me ask you another question, and I'm going to pass over to Sharon right after this. You know, we've had some long-lived bands, or groups, I should say, like, you know, we know the Mighty Diamonds, and we know of certain other bands that may be together, you know, over a long period of time. What are the ingredients that you find that you need in order to keep New Kingston interested and in the right frame of mind, knowing that bands can come and go at an instant?
All right, so I think one of the thing that a band needs to focus on is togetherness. Yeah, everyone needs to understand that music is a harmony. It's supposed to be. There's no, you know, no egos, no nothing. We need to just come together and understand that there's a person inside of you, and everybody have an expression, you know, and be respectful of that expression. If you have that ingredient within a unit, that's one of the first things that will help to last, you know. Once we accept each other and know that, okay, you're the drummer over there and you got that skill and you got that expression, let's see how we can work it. That's why I think when it with Sly and Robbie, God rest in peace, Robbie Shakespeare. But I think that when Robbie Shakespeare, no matter what he plays on the bass, Sly tries to adapt to it, you know. Right. You know, and vice versa. You know, if Robbie side plays something, so musicians have to come together, bands, you know, singers, whatever, come together and try to understand that everyone has an expression, you know. Sharon Mango is a singer herself too, you know. So whatever she comes with, no matter how it sounds to you, may be different, but try to absorb it and understand how can you, you know, blend in with her. Right. You know, and if bands do that, then you find that you last longer if you give respect to each other's opinion and musical style, even if you're not necessarily feeling it, but at first, but if you allow it a space, you know, you and try to be energetic with it. So yeah, that's what you want to do. Let's try it. You know, let's do it. And you have a more long lasting, you know, like with the Diamonds, and I'm sure them have them problems too, but you know, there's always going to be issues and stuff with humans, you know, but if you have the basic fundamental appreciation for each other, that make it last much longer in your industry.
Sharon, I've zipped that invisible zip over my lips, and I'm not saying another word until you speak.
You know what? I'm so happy, B. I'm so happy that you now know who this man is. So you know, it was a serious thing. So, Courtney, I have a question though. I you know, being in the music game, and you know, we've come across so many artists that have gone through the ringer, like, you know, with their music, not owning their music, or they were never paid. Did you ever experience anything like that coming up, or were you educated enough when you started in the game?
Yeah, I never really experienced that too much, other than the fact that there's, you know, vultures all around all the time trying to give you a 6 for a 9, and we as musicians tend to, you know, fall into that because we love the music so much and we want to play, you know, so they use that. So there come a time when you just realize that you have to draw the line somewhere. I say, I cannot go any further, you know, respectfully. You know, I get disrespectful presentation from time to time, and I just humbly deny and say, I'm sorry, I can't do that because it don't make sense, you know.
Right.
But I've never been, you know, falling into a kind of situation where I was just robbed. I can't say that. I know I've been treated unfairly, but that was just a part of the thing. Everybody have the story about that. Nobody come into any business or any firm without paying some kind of dues. And as them call it, paying your dues. So that paying your dues not only mean practicing, meaning getting a little bit of a 6 for a 9, you know.
Right.
You know, so yeah, it's gonna happen. If you anywhere you go, you're gonna do an internship first before you start really getting paid, you know. So it's just the way it is.
Unfortunately, yeah, it's the way it is. But I mean, for some artists, it just worked out that for most of their careers, they were never getting paid. What advice do you have to people coming up in the game?
Yeah, learn the business. You know, intelligence goes a long way. No matter what you know, from our industry into, you have to study and have savvy, you know, have wisdom and thing about life and certain things, you know, and then study the business. If you're going any business you're going to, you have to study the business of, you know, of that, how it works. You know, it's even easier because you can go listen to the Marvin Gaye story easily.
Yeah.
See how he was manipulated, if he was, you know, he came through. You can go check out everybody right now and just learn. So if you're coming up as an artist, you can just go type into Google or into YouTube, you know, being ripped off in the business, and a lot of stories come up, and then you follow the trail, you know, and then, but you have to have intelligence for yourself and wisdom. You know, you have to learn all forms of things. You know, it's not just about taking up a microphone and singing sweetly. You know, it's what are you saying? You know, and you know, and stuff like that. So you have to have intelligence. You have to be saying something, and you have to speak between the sounds too. You know, you have to encourage and stuff like that. So, you know. Oh, wow! So I hear that Courtney Jr. is on.
Courtney Jr. Okay, Courtney. He's been trying to connect to the audio. I think he's having some audio situations at the moment. He can't connect.
No, that was me. That's not even me. I was trying to connect with my other phone because
okay.
and I don't want to lose the Wi-Fi. I don't want to get disconnected. So I was trying to
right.
to log in with another phone so I could stay on.
Okay,
I'm gonna drive. So yes, okay.
Recording in progress.
So I'm gonna hang up from here.
Oh, okay.
1 second. Leave.
I think he's come onto the other device.
Yeah, because there's another Courtney, and that's his son. There's another Courtney on there.
Added him into the center screen. So yes, Courtney Panton and New Kingston are our guests. We've spoken to Tahir and another gentleman. What's his name? Sukir?
Yeah, Sukir, yeah. He's the lead singer, right? Mm-hmm.
The lead singer, yeah. So, I mean, the entire band, I absolutely love what I hear. It's different, it's refreshing. You know, I can listen to their albums and not know what to expect.
Exactly.
Some albums, you play it and you know what to expect. You know, and just being able not to predict what is going to come up next. I love that. The unpredictability. Right. And it's like, what? What's that?
Yeah, the sound is different. It's unique.
Fusion. Yeah, what kind of fusion that? And I'm going to play it a couple times for me to get my head around it.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've stepped out of the box, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I love that. Courtney has disappeared.
I'm sure he'll be back on. Hold on.
We can see him.
But do you have one Courtney still on there?
Yeah, I'll put him on the center screen. And let's see if we can play a song. Let's see if we can play a song up until somebody comes on. I absolutely love this band. I really do. More and more. The first album a couple of years that I bought, like I say, was Kingston City. You know?
Yes.
That was the first one. And that was the only one I had up until I realized that he had a song with, or New Kingston had a song with an artist whom I had interviewed called Ras Charmer. You know, I don't know if you know about Ras Charmer. And then I was like, okay, New Kingston's got this collaboration with Ras Charmer. So I was, nicely amazed by that. I'm going to play that one with Ras Charmer. All right.
Okay.
And Ras Charmer is really an incredible artist to say the least. All right. So take a listen.
Oh.
Okay, I'm going to play this one more time. Bear with me.
Yeah, man, I know Kingston, you know. Woo! Check it out.
Okay. Most High reigns, and Mama earth full of beauty.
Yeah.
To praise the Most High, that's our duty.
For all our days, yes, me said the truth, we not dispute it. Give God the praise, absolutely.
So stop complaining, give thanks for life, hear me no duty.
Yeah.
Go down the guns and then no use it.
What shall you gain? Just to get the world and then you lose your soul. Give thanks and praise, absolutely.
We got to share some love for the little girls and boys. Now we are parents and our children of the shining stars. New Kingston teach the youths to know who they are. So we got the music for the spiritual war.
Yeah.
I see Babylon them coming just from there and far. Some a walk or them a drive up in a armored car. Them only want to see the youth locked up behind the bar. I'm really relying on the stars.
Most High reigns, some Mama earth full of beauty. The praise the Most High, that's our duty.
All our days, yes, we said the truth, we not dispute it. Give God the praise, absolutely.
Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, the station with integrity. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the thing. See?
Give thanks and praise, absolutely.
Easy, Mr. Man. Me know you have a plan. Don't sheep out a man for 1 million land. Remember, we are the one. We have to take a stand. We take back we land from Mr. Babylon. Oh, so many youth them fling down.
Sharon.
Yes, sir.
Send a message to Courtney. Say, where you there?
That's exactly what I'm doing now. Well on there.
Yeah, don't worry about it, people. Hopefully we'll get him back. I feel really inspired by New Kingston.
Yeah, I told you. There he is. Courtney, you reach. Courtney, come back.
I'm here. I had to transfer to keep, you know my thing go. I have to keep moving. I come to New York for a few days and I'm trying to cover 100 million things within the time.
So share with us, where is New Kingston today? Where is New Kingston today? What you guys up to? What is in the pipeline?
Well, what we're trying to do now is we have we're working on a project coming out. We just released one single, Skip a Step, that you played at the beginning of your show. I loved it. It sounded really good on the waves.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Thank you very much for the strength. Every strength is a strength. We just released a video for it too. It's a new look, new style. I'm just allowing these guys to just do them thing. What they feel and what they come to far to say this is what we're presenting right now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at. So we're looking at some booking agents to start possibly booking some shows, that makes sense. Because we have done the grind already. Let me tell you, we have been to every corner of this country. Just traveling around, just pulling all in and pulling, rock and roll style.
So is COVID easing up the pressure for New Kingston right now?
Well, COVID really didn't pressure us, because we had decided, in 2019 that we're going to take a break and focus on recording and just coming up with more music, because that's really what it's all about. Instead of grinding out on the road and, have some grandkids now, and stuff like that. So, the dynamics are changing, so we have to step back a little bit from the touring and kind of position ourselves better, So it's a music. So we'll build up a nice fan base around the country. So now is to get more music to them and to build up the demand to go on the road a little bit more comfortable.
Sharon, before we let Courtney go, what would you like to say?
Again, Courtney, I knew some of the history. I've always had a lot of respect for you. We've even worked on a project together, like Courtney pulled me into a project, hoping that one day we could do some more. I want to say I'm so happy to see the progress of the young men. I know that they had been touring with a lot of artists, backing the artists, but just to see they're coming into their own, you know what I mean? I wish you well, always. We'll always keep the links. I'm wishing the boys well. The success is amazing. I think a beautiful thing to this whole process is that you brought them to a certain point, and then you said, okay, you guys take it over. You were never there to hog the situation. You gave them their independence. You know what I mean? That's the most beautiful thing of all, and I love to see. I just see so much for you. If you think you don't have accolades out there, there are so many people. I've heard your name called from people. I'm like, how do you know him? That's my friend. Like, no, man, he did so much for me. There is so much respect for you in this industry, more than you think. And trust me, you need those accolades. It might not mean a whole bunch right now, but it's out there for you. And that I need you to know that. I needed you to definitely know that the respect on the street for you is real.
Okay, give thanks.
It's real. It's real.
Yeah, thanks.
I think that a couple of people in the chat wanted to say something. I think namely one is Sharon Bentley.
Oh, okay. Bonfire.
Shabba.
Yeah, that's our people right there. Yeah, man, that's one of our supporters right there. Definitely.
Hi, Courtney.
Hey, sis, what's up? What's up?
Oh, I'm watching you and listening. I'm so buff. I find myself even speechless.
Yeah, okay.
Because being a father, being a musician, and hearing you talk about how you take your sons in hand. I mean, I tell you something. I don't even know what to say. I wish and pray to hear many more fathers say the same thing. You know, you did a very good job growing up those boys. And I remember 2018 seeing you guys here in Germany. And I will never forget the show because it was a bombastic show. You know, so respect.
Give thanks.
Respect to you. Respect to the wife and.
Yeah, man.
I'm just speechless. I'm just you know, it's not easy to hear somebody, a musician, talk about his kids and what really triggered him to really take the griff. You know, I mean, it is important that our brothers do that for their children, and seeing you and hearing you do that, respect all the way.
And I guess that this conversation to also help to understand a little bit more than just the music, but how the thing is structured, you know, and how, behind the scenes, you know. So thank you, Sharon and sir, for, you know, pulling that out. So people, whoever can hear it, can get a little understanding of the dynamics behind the, you know, the band, and, you know, motivating young musicians to stay forward.
Yeah, and as their wife said, kids need mentor.
Definitely.
And what better mentor than a father figure? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't get better. You know?
Yes,
I applaud you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, for your question. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else like to say anything? Ranking on? No? Yes? No? No? Yes?
DJ Rankin on.
Ranking on from way back when. Yeah. But Rankin, where say?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Hey, look, Courtney.
Yes, hello. Greetings.
I'm sitting here just feeling so overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed.
The part that really overwhelms me is the way you have balanced and developed your music and your family. Because as you know, many people in the music business, they can be great musicians, great artists, but their family life suffers. And we don't hear about that, you know. So I feel so proud to hear the way that you have balanced and developed your family, and to hear your wife speak, you know, about the way, you know, you have just been that great father figure and husband figure in the family life. So just say I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
And I was going to ask you, be a bit nosy, to hear about, you know, how the romance built between you and your wife. But if she was there, I would ask her to kind of chip in, because I like to hear the romance stories, you know. So do you want to tell us how you met and how it developed?
Wow, yeah, that's a story in itself. It's like it's like a fairy tale, you know. But is she still on? I should let her.
She's gone.
Oh, she's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, well maybe that's for a part 2 then, when you come.
Yeah, that's for a part 2. But
hear that,
one thing I can tell you, I like to speak about people in their presence, you know, so them can add or subtract or correct, you know. So
as long as you not get shy.
Yeah, right.
right. No, but it's interesting. I mean, my life, it might not be a big thing, but it's interesting. Like a lot of us, everybody have their own little interesting journey, you know. Oh, you come to where you are, you know.
Definitely. So yeah, as I said, we will hear that for maybe the part 2. But just to say, I'm so proud of all that you've achieved, but especially the beautiful balance between your talent and your family life. So big respect to you.
Thank you, respect.
Yes, Courtney P, my friend, my long time friend. Long time friend. It's just love, so much love and respect for you.
Yeah,
my
man.
partner, 10 star. I'm like 10 star, man. We got to bring him on here, and I know that now you see why, right, B? You see why.
Yeah,
he's
I
amazing.
see why.
He's an amazing individual, right?
Yeah,
and extremely humble. You see.
Yeah. I actually saw a picture on Instagram just before I came on today with Courtney and his grandkids.
Yes.
Surrounded by the grandkids, and it's just lovely to see that energy. There's family vibes.
That's what keeps me alive. Oh my gosh, I can't start talking about them. I'll go on and on.
I know they're so happy to see you. They were so happy to see you.
Yes, man.
Maybe that's a new Kingston too.
Yeah, right.
Newer Kingston.
Yes.
Yes, the new generation.
Yeah.
Well, it's a blessing to have you on our show today. I really feel, inspired by your story, and your story it keeps me doing what we're all doing to highlight, artists and musicians and such as yourself, So thank you for gracing our show with your greatness. Thank your wife, thank your kids, thank your grandkids. Everything that you're doing, you're going to get our support. Enough respect.
Okay. Respect, sir. Thank you. Bless up everyone.
Right.
Where say?
Well, again, my friend, much love to you. We will definitely stay in touch. Let me know when anything new is coming. Throw it my way.
Man. Let me tell you, right here and there, you're pumping the skipper step. I'm like, that's it. That feels so good. That felt so good. It's like hearing our music for the first time,
Yeah. I mean, you're very welcome. I mean, I let B do it, 10 Star do it.
Every mickle make a muckle, you know. Every set they put in there.
Every mickle make a muckle.
Yeah, man. Every set.
I think that bringing you on now was the best time because you had this new stuff.
Right, your timing was perfect.
I know, it's amazing. That's God's work, that is
man. Let's not start that now. The next long hour talk again now about God's work.
Yeah, God has blessed us all, and
man.
we want to thank you. I want to thank you for even accepting to come on.
Yeah, man.
There will be a part 2.
Okay, all right. I look forward to the part 2. All right. Bless up, everyone.
Bless up. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank everybody for tuning in. Good. That was the whole thing. All right, my brother. Stay blessed.
Respect.
All right, sir.
All right.
So Massive Crew. So next week, Thursday now, we have the producer. We have a producer coming on from Total Satisfaction Records. We had him on the last time.
Yes.
And trust me, all his music is just the creme de la creme. You cannot, in your infinite whole being, hate his music.
Right.
So when he says Total Satisfaction Records, that's exactly what it is. So he's coming on next week, Thursday, God's willing. And we're going to have him on. And then on Saturday, God's willing, we are going to have the legendary Peter Honeygale.
Yes.
In the UK. Woo, woo, woo. Represented.
Big up, Gloria. Yeah, somebody just said, big up Gloria, yes, blessings.
Gloria was here from Nigeria. Bless up, Gloria.
Now, yes.
Thank you, Rankin, and for that question, because he's going to have to answer that question. How did you and wifey get together?
Yeah.
You can't escape it, and she can't escape it.
Nope.
That's true.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that.
I'm going to play a song which is called Love My People. It's from the same, I think, well, you call it an EP. It's 3 songs in one, right? So it's called Love My People. It's by New Kingston. Love it. Take a listen.
Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, the station with integrity. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the thing. See it? So SPRB Radio, I beg you, kick it to it. Let it go.
Oh, I love my people, yes, they love me too. On a rebel way, peace and gratitude. Keep the fire burning every single day. That will shine the light and show you the way.
I love my people when they do it right. When they realize them have job on their side. Shine bright, don't you ever dim your light. 9-5 on the turnpike.
Can't hold my fire, can't stop my flame. Life is a journey, buckle up and don't complain. Through all the little things and all your pain, life has so much to give, there is so much to gain. Oh, if you just keep pushing on, you'll get to life's rewards. Tell Justin the show must come because the rivers need to flow. Just so you know. Oh, I love my people, yes, they love me too. On a rebel way, peace and gratitude. Keep the fire burning every single day. That will shine the light and show you the way.
Jesus, you don't know this tune now. Will I have to play this one more time? All right. Bless up Gloria down there in Nigeria. Bless up Sister Sharon Bentley. Thank you, Rankin. And Sharon Mango, your drum, Courtney Panton in my ears to all me can't hear no more. Lord have mercy.
Oh, I love my people, yes, they love me too. On a rebel way, peace and gratitude. Keep the fire burning every single day. That will shine the light and show you the way.
I love my people when they do it right. When they realize them have job on their side. Shine bright, don't you ever dim your light. 9-5 on the turnpike.
Can't hold my fire, can't stop my flame. Life is a journey, buckle up and don't complain. Through all the little things and all your pain, life has so much to give, there is so much to gain. Oh, if you just keep pushing on, you'll get to life's rewards. Tell Justin the show must come because the rivers need to flow. Just so you know. Oh, I love my people, yes, they love me too. On a rebel way, peace and gratitude. Keep the fire burning every single day. That will shine the light and show you the way.
Never ever give up on yourself. Every mistake adds pennies to your wealth. Compound interest, growing in stealth. Wonders of the world, but the eighth is barely felt. Gotta give the education. Prepare the mind before Babylon come. Don't run from them political traps. Think for yourself, then you start on the lock. For the blessing that you give, that's what you will attract. Big up my family, them keep me on track. Each one teach one.
Greetings, one and all. This is Lloyd Brown, and you're in tune to SPRB Radio, the station with integrity. Remember me tell you, Lloyd Brown giving full endorsement to the team. See? So,
keep the fire burning every single day. That will shine the light and show you the way.
I love my people when they do it right. When they realize them up top on their side. Shine bright, don't you ever dim your light. 9-5 on the turnpike. When you're moving right, get what you deserve. When you're moving left, then you're gonna burn. And I love my people, so I teach them what they need to know. I'm the water to the flowers every single day they go. Tell just and the showers come because the rivers need to flow. And they will know. Hey.
We are.
Well, that's all, folks. That's my line. Step aside, babe. Let a star do this. That's all. That's all, folks.
Can I go home now?
I'm 10-Star General from Stockhead Promotions, and I'm out of here.